Hi and welcome back to my kitchen. In the following video I'm putting together 4 different doughs. This is something I did recently, so that I've used 4 different starters, 4 different mixes, and I videoed the whole process as I went along. So this is my food bod master recipe process step by step. So I recorded everything that I did. Consequently, it made quite a long video. So this is part 1. Up to leaving the dough overnight, and then in the next video is part 2, taking it from in the morning to putting the dough into the bannetons and then baking them, so you can see everything that I do. So I hope it's of interest. Sorry it's long, but I hope you find it useful. Happy baking. Action happening in my kitchen right now. 4 bowls of dough on the way. All are going to be slightly different, all using different starters. Of course there's my star, my Galexia, my Alara. Lots happening. There's going to be different waters, different flours. So let's keep going. Something I am going to use in a couple of these doughs is the water from parboiling potatoes. So this water is going to go into a couple of my doughs and we'll see what it does. Starters all mixed with their water. I always start my process with mixing the starter and water together, then add the flour and the salt. So they've now got all their different flours in. Some have got white, some have got a mix. So this one has got Cotswolds flour, white spelt, and Mrs. Middleton's plain flour, whereas this one has got some wholemeal flour and some Marriage's strong white flour. Same there and the same over here. So now I just need to give them all some salt. I use a teaspoon of salt because that's my preference. If you want more flavour from the salt, then go for it. That's all I require in mine. So what I'm going to do now is add some other things in. So there we go. Salt in with my lovely spoon. These are spent malted grains from making beer that I collected this morning from a local microbrewery just up the road from me called Buck's Star Beer. I thought with star in the name it's perfect, so they're going to go into some of the dough. These are cooked einkorn grains, so they're also going to go into some of the dough. This one has got some of the added spent malted grains. This one has got toasted and ground spent malted grains, and with Alara, my einkorn starter, some cooked einkorn grains. So now I'm going to start to give them all a stir, just a rough mix, and then I'm going to put shower caps on and leave them. When I first mix my doughs together, I just very gently move the spoon round, because all I want to do is get the flour and the water mixed. So the water is through the flour, so there's no dry bits. So it's very hard to do with one hand holding a phone. But I just very gently move it round, partly so that there's not flour flying everywhere, but just also to enjoy the process of starting to mix it. Here they are, they're all roughly mixed with a spoon, and I'm going to go in with my hands, give them all a bit of a squidge before I leave them to start working. Here they are again. All squidged, bowls scraped round. I'm going to put shower caps on them and leave them for hour, hour and a half, whatever works with my schedule. And so the first phase is done. Shower caps on. They've all got an initial, so I remember which is which. These doughs have now been sitting here for about an hour and a quarter. I now have the tripod so you can see, start to do the first handling. This is when the dough tends to be at its stickiest and tends to need the most pulls and folds, but it doesn't take long before it starts to come into a ball. So I'll just do a couple of these on camera so that you can see. So that's all it needs. Same again. And with the different flours, you can see they behave quite differently. So just starting to tuck it in. A bit later you can stretch it out a bit more. Just all they need to do is just come into a bowl, into a ball even, and you start to see, or I do, that the dough kind of cleans the bowl as you go. So, and the ones that have got the add-ins, you're starting also just to spread that round. Well, might as well keep going and do the whole lot. So this one is a bit looser, so I can stretch it up a bit more. So what will happen now is put the shower caps back on. The dough will spread out, and then I'll do this again 3 or 4 times before leaving them overnight. So there we go. Don't take long. This is about half an hour later, so you'll see they've started to spread. And now we'll just do the same thing again. The dough is stretchier, it's cleaner, and it needs a lot less handling to pull it into a ball. So that's all it needs, not even 30 seconds. So same again, up and over, tucking it in, into a ball and leave it. It's that quick, and it can be done at any time intervals. It doesn't have to be at fixed intervals of half an hour or an hour. It can just be whenever you fancy. So I will do this now a couple more times before it gets left overnight. So they'll have shower caps on, a couple more sets of handling, and that's it. And that's it. The simplicity of making sourdough. Here they are. I've just done a last set of pulls and folds before I go to bed. So they've all pulled into their nice little balls. There's already nice bouncy dough going on, and as you can see they're all behaving differently dependent on what flour is in them. So time for shower caps and tuck them in for the night. Time to do your work. Here they are with their shower caps on. And just to let you know, I reuse all of my shower caps. When I finish making dough, I hang the shower caps around the kitchen. I let them dry out, shake off any dried dough, put them back in the cupboard and use them again. And likewise, under here is my glove sitting under a beeswax wrap. And when I've finished with it, I let the dough on it dry out, flake it off and use it again. So everything gets reused.